Hi everybody, I'm here today with Cameron Orr. Cameron owns his own business now. It's Be Adventurous. I don't know if anybody has taken a tour. I'm embarrassed to say I haven't even taken a tour yet. I've been on the truck.
I was going to bring that up in this talk here.
I'm sorry.
Disappointed, but it's okay. We'll get you out there.
I'm going to make it. I'm going to be out there. I promise. But I mean, I was on the volleyball team for Be Adventurous.
That's true. That was an important part of it.
Yes.
So you have rode on the truck.
I have.
Yeah.
It's amazing. And I met you, God, maybe 2 or 3 years ago now.
Yeah, it might have been longer than that.
Yeah.
I don't remember how did we meet.
We met Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, that's right. On the viaduct.
Yeah, on the viaduct. Yeah. Your group was having a cookout, and we were having a cookout.
Yep.
And then
Your group didn't like our music. I think Paul came over and said something, and then we fell in love with Paul. And then you guys kind of came with the package. I think it's kind of how it worked.
We did.
Yeah.
And then we joined forces, and we had a real good time that day.
That was a good time.
So, and I have to say, you were such an easy person to become fast friends with. You are so high energy and so positive. Just about everything in life. It was always easy, and it was always a great time.
That's how
to hang out with
friends
you.
are. It's just a blessing.
Absolutely, yeah, it really is. And then I remember we went out one day, and you were telling me that you were frustrated, not frustrated with your job, but it just wasn't for you, and you were thinking about leaving, and to start your own business. And what was that like for you? What was that process in actually making the decision to jump ship?
It was tough. It was something I knew I had to do. I had this idea in my mind of what I wanted to do, and I knew I didn't want to be those guys in the office that are 60, 70, that had those same ideas but never acted upon them. So I knew I had to do something. So for a couple years, I started saving up the money, building kind of a business plan, what I want to do when I was out of, previously worked for Quicken Loans, the mortgage company. And I had a vision of what I want to do, and I just said, you know what, there's never been a better time in the city of Cleveland to start a company, just with tourism where it's at, with the city booming, with the sports teams, with the renovation, or all the new projects.
Yeah.
I was like, it's kind of now or never.
Right.
So I said, I have to do it. And the longer that I wait, the more likely that somebody else is going to start doing it, and then I'm going to miss that opportunity. So I knew I had to do it.
Why did you, because I remember when we were talking about it, what made you decide to actually do tours? What made you want to give tours of Cleveland?
There was a couple times at my previous employer, Quicken Loans, when we would do group outings. I took some of my bankers on my team. We did a group outing. I rented a rocket ship car for us, if you've ever seen it.
I saw the pictures, yeah.
We had an unbelievable time. I did a little bit of history, and it was just really enjoyable. I was like, man, this is great. The guy that was driving the rocket ship car was dressed in a Hawaiian shirt. He was playing the Beach Boys. I was like, dude, we just paid this guy $200 an hour, and he's having the time of his life. Like, this is awesome. I was like, what a lucky guy. And I realized then, as I moved to Cleveland, I had all these friends and family coming to visit me. I realized real quick, they want to do tours of the city. They want to learn about the city of Cleveland.
Right.
And there's nobody that does that. I was like, well, we can do a Segway tour, which is fun for a couple people, but it's hard for a big group. You can't drink on it. I was like, and then we did a Lolly Trolley tour, which was fun, but it was like kind of like a robot that's teaching you these facts, just like dates and dates and dates. And it's like, I'm not going to remember the dates. That's not what I want to learn.
Yeah.
I want to learn the interesting stuff that's happening in Cleveland, some of the inventions, some of the, just fascinating history of the city. And they weren't giving that to me. So I said, I could do it.
Right.
So I took about 6 months where I went pretty much business to business. Everything touristy you can do in the city of Cleveland, I did it so that I could see firsthand, is this something I would recommend to do? Could I tell people about it? Should I tell people about it? And what's the history of it? You got the submarines, you've got the William G. Mather. There's just a lot of history behind everything in the city of Cleveland.
There really is. And I think I was going to say, people look at me sometimes and they're like, oh, you're 35 and you're living downtown, and Cleveland gets such a bad rap. Right. But I'm like, you guys really don't understand how much there is to discover downtown. It's the coolest place. There's so much to do.
I mean, I've lived here for 5 years downtown. I'm a tour guide, and I still haven't done everything. I mean, there's so much more that you can see and do. There seems like there's a new restaurant or bar or a cool spot opening every weekend. I'm like, oh, I have a list on my
I
phone
know.
that I put. And I'm like,
I
I've got to
know.
go,
Gotta go
Porco's.
here.
I've got to go here. Bar at the
Have you been to
Hilton.
Porco's yet?
Yeah, I love
Okay,
Porco's.
okay, it's great,
But that was
it's
one
great.
that for like 3 months I had on my list. I was like, I need to go
Yeah.
there. They got the new place, taco spot. I can't think of the name of it. By the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Oh,
Why can't I think of the name?
shoot, I can't remember either.
drive me crazy.
Nuevo.
Yeah, that was on my list for a while. I was like, it's like I got to check these out because when somebody comes on my tour, I want to be able to. If they ask a question about it, one, I want to be knowledgeable and give them good advice, and two,
Absolutely.
I want to say, hey, I've been there, I've experienced it, I've had a great time. It is Be Adventurous approved, in my opinion.
I love it. So speaking of Be Adventurous, where did the name come from? How did you come up with that?
It actually, part of it came, I for a long time was thinking something Cleveland Adventures, Cleveland this,
Yeah,
Cleveland that, and I thought I would be restricting myself if I did that. So I started looking at domain names. I was like, man, what domain name could I get? Cleveland Adventures was taken, Adventure CLE, all of those already taken, which was good because then I would be restricted to just Cleveland. If I ever wanted to branch it out and franchise it in another city,
Good thinking.
I thought, what about adventure this, adventure that? So I finally found beadventurous.com was for sale. A guy in Japan had it, made him an offer, he accepted. I knew right away, I was like, Be Adventurous. You could be adventurous in Columbus or Detroit or Cincinnati. I want to be adventurous in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So that gave me that option that I've already been contacted to franchise the company. If I want to franchise in another city,
That's amazing.
I very easily could. So I just think Be Adventurous, get out, be adventurous. There's like slogans and stuff you can do with it. And I just thought it was kind of unique. The only problem with it is a lot of people can't spell adventurous. So they like mess up my domain name. They don't know how to get to my website. So other than that, that's the only problem with it. Isn't it's a little bit long.
I
guess.
think it's so funny that you gave that explanation though, because I was totally thinking it was going to play off of your personality, and I think that name kind of serves two purposes.
It does. It
because
really does.
I don't know anyone more adventurous than you.
So,
I mean,
and the whole taking the trip on the truck through downtown Cleveland,
Right.
It could be raining, it could be sleeting or snowing. You're drinking a
Right.
beer. It's adventurous. Like there's no doubt about it. I mean, it is an adventure. So it really worked out quite perfectly.
I think every time I've ever been out with you, it's been an adventure.
Right. So it really was the perfect name. It just so happened it was available. It was for sale. The company name was available. I'm still working on trademark issues with it, but
Yeah.
because Be Adventurous was already trademarked from Procter & Gamble they had a Be Adventurous line of toothpaste.
Oh, please.
So there's just there's so much that goes into it that you never expect you're going to run into, but you do.
Right. So I have to ask too, what were your concerns about the financial side of things? Obviously, you were comfortable at Quicken Loans. You're making a great living,
Yep.
and then, boom.
I saved up quite a bit. What I
Good.
thought in my mind when you're creating a strategy when you're quitting.
Sure.
How much money am I going to need? How long can I live for? I'm going to lose all my insurance, my medical, my benefits are going to be gone.
Yeah.
Can I afford to pay for that? And I had saved up quite a bit. It wasn't enough. Looking back, no matter how much you prepare for it, you're never going to be ready.
Tell me about it.
I within a first month, the truck broke down, and it took almost all of my extra savings that I had tucked away to fix the truck. I got sued, had a lawsuit that took a bunch of money.
Oh my God.
Every issue that you can run into, I have ran into, and there's no way anybody, if you're about to quit and start your dream company or do something on your own, it's so hard to be prepared because everything gets thrown at you, and you got to be ready for that. But you got to be extra prepared.
What did you get sued for?
We had a guy get hurt on a tour.
Okay.
Unfortunately, last Halloween, fell off the truck and broke his leg. It's one of those accidents that it's just a fluke. I mean, I don't know what else to say. And unfortunately, he's on my tour, so I'm liable. And he had to have some surgeries. And you can't plan or prepare for that.
No.
When you're creating a company, when this was in my mind before I quit, you don't ever think about that. You don't ever think about insurance. You don't ever think about trademarks. You don't ever think about, and what if somebody gets hurt? Am I going to be able to get insurance? Do I need an attorney? Do I need to sign waivers? In your mind, you're only thinking about the really good stuff. Like, oh, I'm out doing a tour. Like, I'm having a great time. I'm bringing in money. You don't ever think about the other side of things that you need to be thinking about.
Yeah, I'm nervous now.
It's different though. For me, it's the adventure, but there's some risk involved. It's a convertible vehicle. The other day, we're taking a group out to Chris Stapleton, Hank Williams Jr. concert at Blossom. We're going down the highway, 65 miles an hour. A gas tank off of a truck in front of us falls off right in the middle of my lane. I mean, it's a 16-ton truck. There's no way I can stop. There's no way I can swerve. I have to hit it. I hit it. I plow down. It explodes. We just keep going.
Stop.
And everybody on the back, there's 16 people in the back screaming. I'm screaming, like terrifying. You just can't. You cannot plan for that. And it's traffic had to stop because the car behind me hit it. It ripped their entire bumper off. My truck, it didn't make a mark on my truck, but it scared the shit. Brandon was in the front seat. He hit his head against the window. Just terrifying. That's the stuff that there is a risk involved just because you're transporting people, you're on the highway, anything could happen. It was one of the scarier moments of my life, to be honest.
You're kind of living up to Be Adventurous.
Yeah.
I told you every time I am with you, it is like
it is
along
such
those
adventure.
lines.
But because it's so adventurous, like insurance companies, I am in such a high risk, a high category. No insurance wants to cover me. And the ones that do, my insurance is insane. My insurance premiums are so much more than I could ever have planned for. So my monthly premiums are just nuts. And the city of Cleveland requires you have $1.5 million in coverage per tour that you do. And it's just like, it's a lot that I was never ready for.
Right.
But I was never insurance. I never needed commercial insurance. So it's a little bit different.
Why? I love though that you didn't stop. You've kept going. What keeps you going? Because I think a lot of people at this point would have been like, I'm out.
I love it. I love it. I mean, it's really difficult. It's a lot harder than I ever expected it to be, but I love it. When I'm on a tour and I have a family, like I had a group from Toronto, I get groups from all over the country that come in that do a tour. When they get off, they're like stoked. I had an old lady, we did a 90th birthday party on the truck. She kissed me when it was done. She's like, I've lived in Cleveland my whole life. She's like, I didn't know any of that. And I was like, that's great. Like that's what motivates you to keep doing it and to do it harder and to get through like every single issue that you have.
Right.
It is a lot of fun. When I'm on the tour and it's going well and it's not raining, I have a blast. And if you've ever been on my tour, you can hear it in my voice. Like I'm having a great time. I don't even realize I'm working. It's just me being out there having fun.
I've said this before in one of my other interviews. It's so easy to follow and be around passionate people. And you are so damn passionate about what you do that it's easy to come along with you and it's infectious, like your passion, the fun that you like to have, your love for everything around the city, it is infectious, so it's so easy.
I think if you're a business owner, it's your baby, so you got to love it and you got to go as hard as you can because it's I tell my buddies, it's paddle or die out there. You're out on the lake here, it's paddle or die. And I got to paddle to survive. So
exactly.
And it's just a great time. So.
Oh my God, I love it. And I was going to ask you too, what were some other, aside from the money, were there any other fears you had?
There wasn't really, when I first started, there wasn't any fears. After I started, then you start realizing what you should do differently and what I should have done. I can't change what's happened a year ago with the lawsuit stuff. I can't go back and change that. I wish I had been more prepared, but it's difficult. There's so much that gets thrown at you when you're self-employed. You own your own business. All of a sudden, you're the janitor. Somebody throws up or spills a beer on the tour.
Oh God!
And I have a tour coming up in an hour next. Like I have to be the janitor to clean it up.
Right.
The headlight goes out while I'm on a tour. I've already been pulled over. The city of Cleveland's already ticketed me for having an out blinker. I have to fix it. Then I've got to become the mechanic. Yeah. And you have to wear the hat where you are the jack of all trades, where I'm the social media marketing expert. I am the web host. If the website goes down, one day my email stopped working. Previously, my other company, if something like that happened, you pick up the phone, you call this guy called the Guru, and he fixes it.
Right.
Now I'm that guy that has to figure out, it took me a whole day to figure out why I'm not getting emails.
Right.
I wasted away, and it's just like, that stuff it's so much more complicated than you could ever plan for. Sure. You're not just doing one role. When my other company, I was a banker, I wrote loans every day, I did refinance purchase.
Right.
That's it. Every single day I did the exact same thing. Now every day is like totally different. I'm meeting with one person, I'm fixing the truck, I'm taking it to Rittman for servicing, I'm getting quotes for this, I'm getting quotes for that, I'm getting banners or signs made. I'm talking about, we're talking about now putting advertisements on the truck, getting quotes for that. I'm talking to bars about putting advertisements on the truck. What can I negotiate? You're doing everything. I mean, from the smallest little stuff to fixing a headlight to, negotiating contracts or working with a lawyer because you got sued. I mean, you're working every end of the spectrum, and it's stressful as all gets out. When I quit, or when I was quitting, I was doing it because I was like, I want a stress-free life. I hate my job. I don't hate it. I don't want to say that. I really like my old job. It was stressful.
Yeah.
I thought, I would start my own company. It's going to be stress-free. That's not it. It's a different stress. There's a lot more stress. But it's a good
different
stress.
kind of stress.
It is. It's not. It's a good, and I'm happy that I finally went ahead and I did it.
I'd say I'm there too. Like the 9 to 5 is a different kind of stress.
Yes. And for me, it was an 8 to 8.
Yeah.
So it was.
Yeah. Oh wow.
But that was a stepping stone. So you have to go through that grind. I think for anybody that's looking at starting a company, you've got to go through that grind, because the connections that you're going to make, the connections that I made at my previous company, the work that I did,
Absolutely.
it made me like into a better worker. Because I worked those graveyard shifts, I worked those crazy hours. Now I don't mind doing it. Like a 9 to 5 is nothing. Like I'll sit in my office, I'll do as much as I need to, and it just makes me grind a little bit more. And I think it was a good stepping stone to branch off to do my own thing.
Right. I love it. I have to ask you too, how did you decide on the truck that you have? Because you have this like huge Army truck.
Yeah, if you guys check out the website, beadventurous.com, or my Instagram, AdventurousCLE, you'll see the vehicle. It's an authentic, it's a 92, it's called a BMY, it's a cargo troop transporter. I picked the truck for a couple reasons. When I started, I said, what is unique, what is cool, what is something that nobody's been on before, or very few people have been on before?
Yeah.
And I said, a fire truck. I said, how cool would a fire truck be?
Oh yeah.
So I bought on eBay at auction a 1956, it's an American LaFrance convertible, old original red fire truck, and it is just, it's awesome. Yeah. It's beautiful, it's got all the original ladders, hoses, pumps. I quickly realized that it's really long and it's really tough to drive. And it needs a ton of work to get it to running to like what I want to do with it. It's a 1956, so it's quite old. Streets of Cleveland, driving through Tremont, Ohio City, you can't drive a fire truck. Like it's just not, it's not feasible. So I said, okay, this is never going to work. What else could I get that's more practical, that's a little bit newer, that has newer electronics, that's going to have less maintenance, that's a little bit smaller that I could get around. I saw a couple military trucks up for sale. The military truck they're meant to drive like in the desert, 24 hours a day. They're just built tough.
Right.
And I said, I bet I could get like 15, 16 people in the back of it. I checked one out, I measured it, I got some bus seats. I was like, I wonder how many I could fit. And it was right at the number that I wanted. I was like, this is perfect. There's still room for an aisle. So I went to auction. There's every Monday or Tuesday, there's a website called GovPlanet that auctions off surplus military vehicles, from Humvees to Army trucks. I wanted one that was just pristine. A lot of them have been used and abused and are beat up. And this is a showpiece. I want to be kind of like, people see it like, man, that thing is awesome. So I found the cleanest one. It had just like 6,000 miles when I bought it. It was just babied. It was used to haul medical supplies at Fort Knox for a long time. And I placed a bid on it, bought it, drove down to Fort Knox, picked it up. That day I put, Brandon had a smart car that I was driving, took a smart car, put the smart car in the back of the truck. The people at Fort Knox thought I was nuts. I'd never driven one before. The truck, if you see it, it's massive. It's like 16
it's
tons.
Huge. It's huge.
The wheels come up to my neck. I think they're 48-inch tires. So I put the smart car in the back of the truck, and I'm leaving. I pull up to the first stop sign. I bust my mirror on the stop sign. So the mirrors stick out. And the truck's just it's the size of one full lane, and the mirrors stick out above the lane. So you got to be ready. Bust off the mirror. I was like, okay, whatever. Keep going. I get about halfway home. I fill it up for the very first time. I top it off. I'm like, great, perfect. There's an older gentleman at the gas station talking to me, asking me all these questions on the truck that I have honestly no idea. Like I know nothing about the truck. It's a blessing that I can even drive it. I get about 2 minutes outside the gas station. It starts putting a little bit, and then it just quits on the highway.
No.
So I quickly get it off. I couldn't get the back of the truck off the highway. So I'm on the busy intersection, broke down. I don't know what to do. So I call a tow truck. I'm like, oh man, I'm still like 6 hours away from home. I'm like, whatever. So I get a tow truck. First tow truck comes, couldn't haul it. Had to get a bigger tow truck. They came and hauled it. It was like a semi-wrecker, cost a fortune. Go to find out I put regular gas instead of diesel in the engine.
Oh no.
It's a diesel truck. So I blew out the engine, the fuel pump, supposedly, and it took like 3 months to fix. Had to get the fuel pump rebuilt.
Oh my God.
And, it really backed up launching of the company quite a bit. And that was like the first hurdle I ran into.
Okay.
That was right when I just launched the company. I just bought the vehicle.
Yeah.
I was planning on starting to do tours in a couple weeks. That sent me back 3 months. So where I missed doing tours almost all summer last year.
Right.
Just that's something you can never be. And I knew it needed diesel. It's just one of those things your whole life you put regular in, and just like old guy was chatting with me and just threw me off my game, I guess. But So I got the smart car off the truck and drove that home, and I was like just waiting until the truck was rebuilt. So
Oh my God, that's insane.
yeah, the rebuild cost more than what the truck did. The repairs did. So that's the stuff that you can never, when you're about to launch a company or quitting, you can never plan for that because you don't ever think it's going to happen. You don't ever think worst case
No.
scenario. I would tell any entrepreneur, you've got to be prepared for whatever gets thrown at you.
Right.
For me, it's having contracts signed or having agreements signed or having waivers. That stuff just never once crossed my mind. In my mind, I was just like, I'm going to be minting money, doing
Yeah.
tours,
Yeah,
20
yeah,
bucks
yeah.
a head.
Yeah.
I can do pump out how many tours a night.
Right.
And you don't ever think about the other side of things, like how are you going to get people to go on the tours? Who's going to hear about you? Like people are just going to buy tickets because out of nowhere, like you got to advertise, like
Right,
and that's the
right.
stuff that I guess I wasn't ready for. But
Oh my God. Well, I have to say, I walked out of the building, God, one day, this was maybe like last summer. And I was on my way to work, and I want to say it was like 7 in the morning. It was early. And it was a beautiful morning, and there you were, just sitting outside, reading a book on Cleveland. And I walked out and I said, "What are you doing?" And you said, "I'm getting ready." You were like, "I officially quit my job and I'm doing this." And I remember we talked about it. And when I drove to work that day, I was just so happy for you. And I was so envious of just like, here's a guy that had a dream and is just taking this huge risk, because I have to think that everybody thought you were absolutely crazy for
Yes.
leaving
Yeah, they did.
a high-paying job to come and do this, which is a huge risk. And but you did it, and it's something that you loved, and you're making it work despite all of the obstacles and everything that's been thrown in your way. And I think it's just a huge inspiration. It's like, yes, people
thank
are
you.
doing it. I see people doing this.
I was studying that day.
You
there's a
were
book on-
hitting me with facts too.
Yeah, you got to keep studying. Cause when you're on the tour, I want to teach you stuff that's just not. I want it to be stuff that you're like, wow, that's
Yeah.
insane, or that wow, that's really cool stuff that will stick with you, not just boring facts or dates on when this building was built, stuff like that. But,
What's your favorite thing about Cleveland?
oh man, there's a zillion things. I like how Cleveland got its name. Cleveland was actually spelled differently than it is today.
Okay.
The gentleman that founded Cleveland was Moses Cleveland,
Yeah.
which makes sense. He founded right here at Settlers Landing, just a few minutes walk
Yeah.
from where we are currently. It wasn't until 1831 that Cleveland was spelled C-L-E-A, just like Moses Cleveland. That's how his spelling of his name was. It changed because they couldn't fit it on the first newspaper, the mast of the paper. It was too long to fit
God.
on the mast of the paper, so they cut out the A in the middle, and people got used to seeing Cleveland spelled in the newspaper. And so that's how it ended up getting changed to the Cleveland that we're used to today. So originally it was spelled differently than what it is today, which I think is kind of
See,
interesting.
That's a
And-
way
and
better
if-
fact than a date.
Correct,
I'd
yeah.
rather have that than a date.
Correct. Like, I mean, people are really passionate about Cleveland and sports teams, but it's like the Cavs. People love the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, yeah.
Why are the Cavs named the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Right.
Nobody knows that
I
stuff.
don't
But
know.
this stuff is interesting. In 1970, the Cleveland Plain Dealer held a contest for the naming rights to the Cavs.
Yeah.
One gentleman, Jerry Tomko, he lived in Eastlake, Ohio. He submitted the ticket. There's 15,000 entries. He submitted his ticket. It said, "The Cleveland Cavaliers, a group of daring men whose life's pact is never surrender, no matter what the odds." And the guy that owned the Cavs at the time said, "I love that. That makes sense. Let's name the Cleveland Cavaliers," and that's why they're named.
Oh my
Never
God.
surrender, no matter what the odds. And if you think about games, they were down 3-1 to the Warriors. They came back and won. They never surrendered,
yeah,
no
yeah.
matter what the odds. So 1970s when they officially joined the NBA, which is just a dumb fact like that. That's stuff that you'll kind of remember. It makes sense. It's just not a date.
That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun facts like that. If you come on the tour, you'll learn a zillion things. I think I'm going to introduce, since the Cavs and Indians are doing so well, some sports-related tours, just focusing on the sports histories. Cleveland Indians, just a dumb fact about them. 1912 to 1914, you know what the Indians were named? It was before they became the Cleveland Indians. They were the Cleveland Molly Maguires. How crazy is that?
That's
They were
nuts.
the Cleveland Molly Maguires for almost 3 years. And then they became, in 1915, the Cleveland Indians.
Wow.
Like, just dumb, but it's kind
See,
of interesting.
these are the things we can all learn
If
if
you
we
come
go
on
on
the tour. So next year, I think I'm going to do some just sports-related tours, which will be great for.
That's
forever.
fantastic.
I think people love the Cleveland sports, so I think it'll be good to branch off to do. We've got history tours, we do taco tours, haunted tours.
we can.
I didn't do any
Can we
haunted
drink
tours.
on the tours?
You can drink on the tours. Yeah, we're licensed just like a party bus, so it seats up
party.
to 15 people.
Yeah.
You can BYOB. The only rule I have on the tours, in the year and a half I've been doing it, the only rule I've came up with, I tell people, no fireworks. You can't have fireworks.
Yeah.
I had a guy shooting off Roman candles a couple weeks ago, and I was like, you can't do this. Like, I'll let you do pretty much anything. You can't shoot off Roman candles downtown Cleveland as I'm driving you around and you're drunk. it just doesn't fly. And I love fireworks, but so I yelled at him.
Yeah, it
and
seems
he
a little
stopped.
dangerous. Yeah.
But that's pretty much the only rule I have. Otherwise,
Okay.
you can drink and have a great time and learn about the city of Cleveland.
Yeah, and what months are you going to be doing it because the truck is uncovered? I mean, what happens when it rains or?
So yeah, I don't do tours if it rains. I do have a cover next year if things go well. I will institute, I guess, the cover system to it. I have a canopy system that I'd like to add to the truck so that on days when it is raining, like really bad, we can
Right.
still operate and do tours. For now, I cancel tours if it's raining real bad. I have
Okay.
ponchos for some tours if it's like
Yeah.
sprinkling. That just
going.
adds to the adventure.
Oh,
Like going
yeah.
over the shoreway, that blue bridge there.
Yeah.
60 miles an hour in a convertible with it just sprinkling is just like crazy. It's so much fun, and people love it. Like they're not mad this rains. They're like, this is cool.
This is
anyways.
amazing.
So, but yeah, we want to add a canopy so that we can do more events and stay
Okay.
busy. But we operate between April and I shut down operations about a week and a half ago. I didn't do any haunted tours this year because of some maintenance issues. But
Okay.
we're going to try to do 3-4 solid months of as many events as possible, whether
Right.
it's history tours, bachelorette parties, bachelor parties, comedy tours where we have local comedians like Bill Squire, Ramon Rivas. They come out and do stand-up on the truck as we tour the city. We're doing a bunch of just really unique things. It's a real fun, affordable date night.
Yes.
And it's different. Like if you go on a date,
Absolutely.
everyone's go to the bar. That gets old. What
It
else
sure
would you
does.
do? Go to
It
a
sure
sporting
does.
event? Like
Yeah.
$20 and you can come on, ride a truck, learn some history, drink while I
it's
do
fun.
it. Yeah.
Oh,
it's
you're
cheaper
so
than going to a
fun.
movie. So
And God only knows what else is going to happen on these tours.
crazy
it's
stuff
always
happens.
an adventure.
It is always an adventure. You're going to see some stuff homeless people love running up and yelling at us and asking for beers. Like I can't explain it till you're on it. Like you can't explain how it is until you're on it. I should put it like a GoPro. I take GoPro and do pictures, but I need to do like a
Video.
video of the entire
We'll
tour.
come out
like,
one day
speed
and
it
do
up. Yeah,
videos
you guys-
of
yeah, we'll
one
do
of your
one on the
tours.
truck.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you do in the off months, or is there
So,
something else?
Yeah, so I guess you could consider me a serial entrepreneur at this point. When I was 20, I bought my first house, started my own company, UA Rentals. I created that into Orr Rentals. I have 3 rental properties, frat houses at the University of Akron that I manage. They're 100% occupied. They're right on campus. That takes a lot of my time. Last year, in the down season, I created another company called VintageCLE.com. I have probably the largest collection of vintage Cleveland Indians, Browns, Cavs memorabilia.
Okay.
So I started selling that on my website, and it's now blossomed into a crazy operation. Like I almost need to hire
Really?
someone to run it because we're doing close to 200 sales a month, all through my website, VintageCLE.com. That was like a hobby because I love thrifting and flea
Yes,
markets, and
yeah,
I love vintage Cleveland stuff, and I had a crazy collection. I was like, I'm gonna start selling it, and started an Instagram account. We have like 7,000 followers on Instagram now.
Really?
Yeah, on Vintage CLE.
Good for you.
And it was just like a hobby in the winter. And now I'm shipping out 10 to 15 packages every morning, and it's like
wow.
crazy. I'm doing between like $4,000 and $6,000 in sales a month through Etsy and my website, and it's just like
That's
It was a
insane.
stupid little hobby. Now it's blossoming into a lot more than I ever expected it to. So that will be my winter project to keep growing that. So.
Oh my God. Well, I have to say that you're definitely my inspiration. If you
Aw.
weren't before, you are now. I think it's crazy. I know it's a lot of hard work. I think people look at people like you or I and say, oh my God, you guys
Yeah.
want to go out and do things yourself? That's crazy. But I think is the risk worth the reward? What do you think?
I thought that when I would quit, I would get really healthy and it would be a stressful life and money would just be pouring in. I don't make near what I did before,
Yeah.
which is okay.
Yeah.
I spend time with my family, my friends more. I used to go see my father a couple times a week.
Yeah.
We hang out. I help my grandparents. That stuff I can't really put a price on. I can't put monetary value on that. So even though I'm
Yeah.
not making the money I used to, I don't need to. I'm definitely at another level of being happy than I was working, 60 hours a week. The money was great, but you don't get to enjoy it.
I
You
know,
don't get
but
to see your
that's-
family. You don't get to
yeah.
go on vacations.
You're tired all the time.
You're tired. Yeah, you're depressed, and it wasn't working. So I definitely am very happy that I did it. I did it at the perfect time in the city of Cleveland. Are there things I would do differently if I did it again? Of course, there's a zillion things, but you just have to hop in. I mean, it's never going to happen
That's
unless
right.
you just dive in and go all in. A lot of people will have a dream or vision, and they'll end up going to the grave with it. I didn't want to be that guy
Me either.
that dies with his dream and never
Yeah.
did it. So now I can say, you know what? When I was 28 years old, I was 26 when I quit. I quit my job and I did the craziest thing imaginable. My
Right.
dad was behind me, my family was behind me. I mean, they thought I was nuts, but they said, if you think it's going to work, then you know Cleveland, you know what the city needs, do it. Like, why talk about it? Just get out and do it. So luckily I had the money and the resources, and the company is still debt-free after everything we went through, and there's a chance of expanding to other cities. There's a chance of looking at adding more vehicles to this city.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things in the works hopefully here soon. So.
And I think it's safe to say, would you ever go back to the corporate?
I would never go back. I
corporate
loved what I did, and I loved the people I
Yep.
worked with, and the people that I met there. I still communicate with today, and I don't
That's
know
great,
if I
yeah.
could do what I without those connections. I don't know if I'd be as successful as I am now. So I
Yeah.
still use those connections, and we talk and hang out.
Absolutely, yeah.
I do tours for Quicken Loans. I did probably 5 this summer for
Wow,
their
yeah.
company, for interns and all kinds of people that come in. They get new interns that don't know anything about Cleveland. I take them out, and they're like, "Holy crap! I didn't
Yeah.
know Cleveland even had this. This is insane."
Right,
So
right.
yeah, it was. I wouldn't want to go back to that lifestyle, being in a cubicle and working for somebody, but I do miss everybody I worked with. Obviously, I miss the money. I love the benefits, and I miss the routine.
Agreed.
The routine is crazy because when you quit, you don't have a routine.
I'm having a tough time.
Yeah, you gotta
I'm
create
having
a
a tough
routine.
time. Yeah.
I wake up and I'm like, okay, I cook breakfast, I go to the park, walk my dog,
Yeah.
and then I have to create the rest of my day to be successful. Before, there was instructions, there's a manual, there's like a leader that says you got to do this at this hour, this at this.
Yep.
Now I don't have that. For my company, there's no instructions. There's nobody else in the country doing what I'm doing. I have to
Right, right.
create that booklet of instructions.
Exactly.
So that's really tough unless you're really driven and you're strict at what you do. Like I know I have to be on my computer. I have to be sending emails between 10 and 11. I'm sending out mass emails to other business leaders downtown trying to book their company to do a tour.
Yeah.
I'm creating flyers. I'm creating business cards, mailing lists. Like you have to have it set up every day so you know what to do
Right.
coming into that day, and you have to follow it.
Oh my
But
God.
the routine stuff.
Yeah.
You're
it's,
going to realize that pretty quick.
Oh, I did. He. That's when I was talking to Alex. He was like, "Make sure you make a schedule." So
Yeah.
I had this whole list. Okay, get up at 7:30.
Yeah.
Just get up. I just wake up. Just
Yep.
get up. And it's more about like 8, 9 o'clock now, where
Yeah,
I'm
see,
just
you
like,
start slacking
"Alright."
off a little bit.
Oh, I slack,
Yep.
and then I'm developing these weird like. Sometimes I'll wake up at like 3 in the morning and I'll
Yeah.
do something, and then I'll go back to sleep, and I'm like, okay, weirdo, like
Yeah.
get a real schedule.
You start staying up later,
Yes.
and you're not going
it's-
and then you
it's
wake up
getting
later,
bad.
and yeah, you gotta nip that in the bud and figure out like what is
Yeah.
going to work and just make it happen.
Exactly.
Even though I'm not going into the office, I need to be at my desk working at 8 o'clock or whatever
Yeah.
that number is for you.
That's where I think like this different kind of stress comes in, where like this
Correct.
is very different.
Correct.
And yeah, but it's good. So to wrap up, what piece of advice would you give to me and people like me who are just trying to figure out the next move, where they're going, what kind of vision, how to follow it?
I definitely think meeting with other entrepreneurs, what you're doing, interviewing some of us is, I think, a great idea. It will give them kind of direction, and I think going out to lunch and picking their brain and you know, for me, if I knew if you're opening a store, obviously every company is a little bit different. So I'm doing tours, so I don't have a storefront. I don't have to worry about this, but I would try to play it out. The Cleveland Indians right now, they do simulated games. They have the pitchers pitch simulated games. I think that's kind of what you need to do in your mind before you quit to get ready. Like create a simulated scenario. How much am I going to pay a month? Like me, I know I have my insurance I have to pay. I have to pay my
Right.
web hosting. I have to pay a storage fee for the truck. I know how much money I need to set aside a month. You have to be beyond prepared. And I think meeting with other entrepreneurs and asking them what issues they ran into, I think that's all good material.
Yeah, I think that's definitely what I've been trying to figure out.
Right.
So
But every business is different. So it's what I'm doing and what you're going to do is,
Yeah,
is
very-
so far
they'll be
from
very different.
Correct. So it's like what I'm doing isn't going to work for you. Like it's
Right,
like
right.
But there are pieces of it that are
There are
going to be that you
pieces.
will use.
Absolutely. I think the unexpected is definitely, our first interview that we were supposed to do with you a couple weeks ago,
Yep.
Alex got a flat tire
Right.
and we had to cancel,
Right.
and I was like, oh no.
So, yeah, and that's what you're going to run into. But
Yeah.
you got to
yeah.
be prepared and you got to bounce back and you got to have a positive attitude. Like
That's,
I'll
yeah.
just have a terrible day and something will happen and it's just like, you know, I can either be down and salty about it or just say, you know what, it could be worse. I'm blessed where I don't have to report to anybody. I'm blessed that I've
Yeah.
got a great family and friends and core that are supporting me. So
Yeah.
things could be a lot worse. I have a beautiful house. I'm able to afford my bills, and so and I go to the park every day. And it's like I couldn't do that before.
And right.
Like,
yeah, you can't do these things.
You know what my favorite thing is about being self-employed? By far, it's my number one favorite thing.
What?
Happy hour. You get to see what happy hour is. When I worked for another company, I didn't even know what a happy hour was.
Really?
Now I should start a website on happy hours.
Now
I'm
you know
a
what's
happy hour master.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you never get that when you work for a company and you're working until 6, 7, 8 o'clock. You're not seeing half off margaritas.
No, you're not. No.
I see half off margaritas more than anybody in the city now. Like, Barrio, I mean, I know their specials like the back of my hand. So it's pretty cool to be able to check out a happy hour at 3 or 4 o'clock and like.
Exactly.
Unfortunately, a lot of my friends can come with me, so I'm there alone, but me and Lindsay, I guess. But.
Yeah, I love it too. And I think where we were talking about, you were telling people to prepare and to save. Mm-hmm. In my case, where it was just the immediate, oh, hey, your job's gone today. And it's just like, okay, but I think my piece of advice that I would give everyone, the only thing that saved me was that I've had a financial advisor that I've always worked with.
That helps.
So it's kind of like I had this, little cushion in case, and he would always tell me, Sarah, you need a cushion in case anything happens. And I walked into his office and I said about that cushion.
Yeah.
So I think that's my one thing, because when something, I never in my life could have expected or planned for this.
Right.
It's one of those, I didn't think this was going to happen. And then, whoo, thank God I walked in there. Oh yeah. And I walked in and I was like, okay. And I told myself, this could be worse. I'm just going to keep going. This could be so much worse. So
everything happens for a reason.
I know, that's what I say. Yeah.
You're going to be better off without it. But yeah, I think the financial advisor is a great point, because they're
so either way, you got to plan your finances. Either way. Yeah.
Over plan your finances, because you're going to need more than you ever imagined.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, okay. Well, anything else? Any other?
That's it. Just do it. Whatever your dream is, just get out and run for it. Run as fast as you can, and paddle or die is what I tell people. So,
paddle or die.
Paddle or die.
Paddle or die. Okay. And you can find Cameron's information at beadventurous.com. Make sure you contact him and go on a tour. Make sure you check us out at lockedchronicles.com. You can follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.
For more information about Cameron and his company, please visit beadventurous.com.